the devil's universe. I would like to structure this video around occult science. The reason I named this video the devil's universe is because anytime you mention the occult sciences, whether it be astrology, whether it be natural magic, or whether it be alchemy, there are associations with devils, demons, jinns, so on and so forth. So, since this is the devil's universe, why not allow the devil's information to explain the environment that we're in or the environment that we have access to? First and foremost, we must understand that invisible forces influence us greatly. What do I mean? Take, for example, a Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde happens a couple times every year. Mercury and the Earth never actually touch each other, but we clearly feel the effects of Mercury retrograde, although there is no physical touching of these two planets. They are millions of miles apart. However, the effects are felt greatly on both sides. The Earth also affects Mercury as Mercury affects the Earth. Let's take it a step further. That's astrology. If we take it to alchemy, we're introduced to the 7 universal laws: mentalism, correspondence, rhythm, vibration, polarity, gender, causation, so on and so forth. This explains to us that everything, no matter what it is, has to abide by these laws. In other words, nothing is still, everything moves, everything can be influenced by the mind. It teaches the basic principles as to how to operate in this invisible, you can say, I don't want to call it a fishbowl, the flat earth, we're in a fishbowl. I don't really want to go there, the dome. But essentially, it's like the stars are like a celestial ocean, as they call a celestial Nile. You have the earth now, then you have the celestial Nile. You bridge these two together, right? Alchemy, astrology. Then you have natural magic, which introduces you into witchcraft and how to create energy grids on the earth to pull energy from underneath or within the earth to the surface of the earth, then bring the energy down from the celestial to the surface. All these energies meet at the middle point, which is the surface of the earth. And who's on the surface of the earth? The alchemists performing alchemy. So when you merge these 3 occult sciences, we see why the devil always comes up when we mention these things, because we are told that we have no understanding of the universe. We cannot comprehend its mechanisms. God created everything. We have nothing to do with the creation. We have no influence. This is all circumstantial. Everything is pushed towards us to make us think that things are haphazard and random, and we have no type of influence or luck or charm over what happens to us or on the earth, inside the earth, or on the celestial plane. However, occult science tells you different. You are actually the center of the universe. This is actually all about you conducting experiments, with your own mind. You treat the earth as a laboratory. You treat the stars as formulas. You treat the invisible forces like equations. You think like a mathematician, a scientist, so on and so forth. Occult science opens up or unlocks everything else that appears to be hidden or secret or covert to the masses. Because anytime anybody has any information of this type or of this nature, they associate them with the Illuminati. And because they associate them with satanic groups or anything satanic or devilish, the Baphomet, so on and so forth, whatever terms that they want to label it as, it's always of a demonic nature or a darker nature. So anything that tells you about you, because astrology essentially tells you about you. Alchemy tells you about you. Witchcraft tells you about you and how you can use your own hands to create formulas with the natural resources of the earth. All of these things essentially teach you how to be you, not teach you how to be something other than yourself, but to utilize the resources you already have access to and amplify it. However, whenever we are promoted to do these types of things, it's labeled demonic, satanic, witchcraft, sorcery, necromancy, so on and so forth. This dark connotation, this dark stigma that's always attached to these types of topics, the controversy. Anyone associated with the occult has some type of controversy. Whether we look at Aleister Crowley, Helena Blavatsky, Carl Jung, Nikola Tesla, any of the ones who were speaking New Age science into existence, Elijah Muhammad, right? Before UFOs was even a thing, Elijah Muhammad was talking about the mothership. Oh, sorry, I'm seeing all type of, you know, birds, and they're real close. I guess they like the frequency. It just kind of threw me back. Nature is just doing its thing. Saying all this to say, whenever we seek true light, whenever we seek soul light, we are told that we're doing the wrong thing or walking the wrong path, going down the wrong path. We're called lost souls, dark souls, anti-Semitic, anti-religious, rebellious, all type of terminology, all types of words. Just know that occult science is the gift from our ancestors to help us understand the society that we are in. No matter what type of civilization or culture that's being pushed upon us, we always have the necessary resistance to push back and to extend our own mind instead of becoming someone else's mind. We project our mind into the universe instead of becoming a minion of someone else's mind. However, when you do that, you're labeled demonic, devilish, satanic, so on and so forth. So I say, why not embrace the darker sciences? Because there is no way to be successful without tapping into the dark in some form or fashion, whether you have to go through struggle, you have to go through pain, you have to go through strife, you have to go through heartbreak, you have to go through some type of darkness to even be an artist, to even be a politician. You have to experience the dark. Then you have to transmute that darkness, that raw energy, into a more refined energy so that you can express it in a more pure form, a more refined form in time. Before the energy is refined, however, you have to deal with the rawness. Essentially, before you deal with angels, you must understand demons. You must understand the raw nature before you understand the refined nature. You must understand a beast before you understand a god. You must understand the opposite so that you have something to compare it to, so that you can help identify what it is by looking at its opposite. Whenever we seek to be an individual, we somehow become children of Satan, right? Maybe we are. Maybe because the word Satan has been in the English language since 1200. What was going on in the 1200s? Let's just take a look back in history before we close it out. If Satan has been in rotation since the 1200s, in the 1200s, that's around the time where the Moors still occupied Europe. So that means Europe was filled with Moorish science. It was a whole different environment or atmosphere versus what you see today. It was essentially the apex of civilization for Europe at that time. Europe was at its apex because all civilizations had merged in Europe because you had Moors that were Christian, Moors that were Muslim, Moors that were Jewish. You had Moors that occupied all of the major religions, and they came together to bring it all in to merge it, into what we call Moorish science. Moorish science later became Freemasonry, which we see all over the United States and elsewhere. So, if Satan is this dark being, this negative force, this word that has been in rotation since the 1200s, and we know the 1200s, there was a lot of energy on the planet essentially, we can see why the associations are made. All we have to do is take a look at history, what was going on. 100 years later, we know that the Knights Templar, in the year 1311, I believe, 100 years later, the Knights Templar on Friday the 13th were accused of worshiping the devil or Baphomet, right? 100 years later, now the Knights Templar, which was one of the most financially successful institutions ever, now they're being accused of devil worship. Then we take it up to the Freemasons now, who are considered devil worshippers, right? So we see this long line of so-called devil worshippers and devil magic, so on and so forth. But as we put two and two together, we can truly is in its raw form as well as its refined form. So if you truly feel you are a child of Satan, just do the history of the word itself. Do the history as to how many people and how people were accused, how people were associated, what caused people to be associated with this type of energy, this type of stigma. What were they able to do? They were able to do supernatural things. The things that everyone claims that we all should learn how to do, but if you demonstrate these abilities, the government may have another plan for you, right? We all say we should be the best. We should be the fullest of ourselves. We should have infinite potential mentally. But if you actually demonstrate that, you will not be met with favorable criticism. They'll align you with a darker force, a negative energy, destroy your image, and throw you away in the trash. And you could have been the second coming of Christ. But the world truly isn't ready for something of that magnitude. We'll find a way to dilute it, mix it, and tamper with it, and the world continues as it is. So, with all these things and all these concepts in mind, just take a step back, do some meditation, study the devil card in the tarot for all my tarot readers. Study the devil's card. If you need any more information, just contact me, Asha at asharenew.com. Business number 702-530-1197. You need to inquire about any services. Again, in the next few days, I'll have the astrology services on the site, so you will be able to pick which type of service you need and which format you want to receive it in. So you can get a PDF. So essentially, I can give you a summary of your chart, 2 to 5 pages, or I can give you a 20-page summary, which is more detail orientated. Or if you want an MP3 file, I can give you an MP3 file. If you want a video, I can give you a video. So you will have multiple options as to how you want to receive your reading. So that'll be up in the next couple of days. So let me read off any comments, any questions that may have arisen, and we'll check out, right? Welcome to the Devil's Universe. All right? All right. So what's up? What's up, Donna? What's up, Brianna? What's up, Draco? What's up, Death Wish? What's up, Patonia? What's up, Kelly? So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Y'all hang in there. I'm gonna keep putting it down. You keep putting it down. Lay down the format. Be the children of Satan, truly, from within the heart. Truly believe in your powers. Because you know you have it. You already know you're different. You already know you stand out. You already know something different. You already know where you stand. So nothing more needs to be said. Peace.